Well, hello everybody. This is Louise Eddington. I am the Cosmic Owl from Cosmic Owl Astrology. First of all, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, and maybe click that little bell to get notified when I upload new videos. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos this year, and the more subscribers I have, and etc., the more it shows up in YouTube's algorithms, and the more it helps my videos get seen. And plus, you might not want to miss the videos if you like watching them. So today I do want to talk to you about the literal cosmic owl. Pallas Athena. Okay. She was discovered in 1801, and her discovery chart has amazing connections to my chart. I'm not going to go into them all because that would just be like take forever. But also, Pallas Athena in my natal chart is exactly conjunct my ruling planet Jupiter, and my ascendant is 27-28 degrees Sagittarius. I'm still rectifying times. And Pallas Athena, as I record this, is on that point, which is conjunct the galactic center. And yesterday, as she hit that point, I got a message kind of just come through, and I posted it on my social media. And I got one person who's a bit of a grumpy curmudgeon and is now out of my life, making some nasty comments about it. But what I said was, forget any predictions based on old astrological models. We're entering uncharted territory, and that reduces it to guesswork. The same in your life. You can plan, but base it on a vision. Let go of any past stories and then move toward it, but let go of attachment to how you do it or to the outcome. So I want to talk more about why that message came through, because, you know, it's hard to put a lot on a short Instagram post. Well, first, Pallas Athena is the visionary strategist. She sees into things. She's kind of like the white rabbit, and Alice going down the rabbit hole and Alice following her. So she's kind of the two of them combined, and she sees new patterns and things that look different. And she's able to strategize. As a goddess, she was a warrior, but her symbol is actually kind of a spear, but it's also a diamond on top of the cross of matter. Okay. So she would go to war, but she was a strategist, and only when absolutely necessary. It wasn't kind of the gung-ho, let's just go fight kind of war. So she's a very interesting character. And she's also the astrologer's asteroid. And she just sees new things, new information, pulls in these things from left, right, and center and above and space. So what the message was really saying was not meant to dismiss all the old astrological patterns. Of course, they're still relevant. Of course, the fact that Saturn and Pluto conjunct every 36, 38 years or so, depending on Pluto's orbit, is important. Of course, it's important to look back at the last time they were conjunct, which was 500 years ago, when it was the Protestant Reformation. Of course, it's important to look back at the other times, and I've mentioned them before. In 1284 and 1896 BCE, they were the last two times that Saturn and Pluto were conjunct in Capricorn, and Jupiter was in Capricorn. And 1284 CE was the Pied Piper of Hamelin. From what I can also gather, there were the Jews were having a terrible time in Europe and being expelled from England and such like. So, you know, they were kind of major times. 1894 BCE was when Babylon was formed, and a lot of astrology comes from the Babylonians, and they were a great civilization. So, you know, they're important times. 3838 BCE was when all three were in Capricorn, that is Saturn, Pluto conjunct, and Jupiter in Capricorn, and Uranus was in Taurus, which it is now. And that was kind of between the ages, I believe. That was kind of, it was, oh no, that was the Trojan War. I've been doing so much research. But that was when writing was started, and it was kind of the start of written history and written development. So, and that's according to the amazing Roy Gillett. But my point about, or not my point, Pallas Athena spoke to me, is that why could we completely forget the expectations based on that? I'm not a big fan of definite predictions anyway. I work more with, well, this energy's rising and this, and, you know, I don't say this is kind of going to happen then and the financial market's going to collapse. I'm not that kind of astrologer. Because a lot of the times, a lot of predictions, you only hear about when they were right and not when they were wrong. And this is not to diss any astrologer. There's some very good astrologers out there making some very good predictions. But what Pallas Athena was telling me was that all those other times, all those other models based on what's happening right now, we didn't know that Pluto existed, right? We did not know that Uranus existed. We only back then knew of the 7 main planets, pretty much most of the time. Pluto was discovered, oh, I can't remember the date now. I had it in my head. I should have written it down. In 1930. As I said, Pallas Athena was discovered in 1801, and she's on the galactic center now. When Pluto was discovered, we all took a deep dive into the psyche and psychotherapy, and it really came to the rise then. Not that it didn't exist before, but it came, you know, it developed faster than ever before, and more kind of soul exploration. When Uranus was discovered, the internet started. So, you know, these are all new energies. Then we have Ceres conjunct Saturn and Pluto today as well. And Ceres was asteroid number 1. But she was discovered in 1801 too, just before Pallas Athena, or kind of the asteroid belt was really discovered then. But in 2006, when Eris was discovered, she was promoted to dwarf planet from asteroid designation, and Pluto was demoted to dwarf planet status. And since that point, we're discovering dwarf planets at a great rate. Okay, there's a great site called dwarfplanetastrology.com, and that's run by a guy called Alan Clay, who's written a really good book on Sedna, by the way. But on this site, he talks about them all. There's Ceres, which is nurturing. There's Pluto, which is transformation. There's Ixion, which is lawlessness. Orcus, which is delving down and speaking out. Haumea, which is rebirth, and I'm going to be writing something on Haumea as well. Maki Maki, which is devotion. Koya, which I can never say, which is new perspectives. Varuna, which is notability, and Eris, which is consciousness through discord. And I am actually started writing an article about her. And Sedna, spiritual destiny through transcendent crisis. And there's actually a new dwarf planet that's just been named. I actually voted on the naming, called Gong Gong, which is flood of insight, and named after a Chinese water god. So you can see our universe is expanding. We didn't know about most of these energies when to base any predictive astrological predictions on. So, you know, I'm not dissing astrology. I'm not saying Saturn doesn't still Saturn. And I'm not saying that Pluto was not there in all those times, or that Uranus was not there in all times. But we really only knew of Saturn and Jupiter when all those other periods happened that I've talked about. So my point is still, it's saying you cannot, and well, not my point, Pallas Athena's point on the Galactic Center. My point is that we're entering unknown territory. We weren't going into a new astrological age before. Now we're entering the age of Aquarius. And nobody really knows what that looks like. There's some very good guesses, and I think some of them will be right. We had the great mutation of Saturn and Jupiter at 0 Aquarius on December the 21st this year. That we can look at more reliably based on old patterns. But we still have to bring in all these new energies because things are changing. Our universe is expanding. The models are expanding. The possibilities are expanding. It doesn't mean nothing before was relevant. It just means it has to be tempered with the new, which is very Aquarius. It's bringing in the old in a new way and bringing in the new, because Aquarius is ruled by both Saturn and Uranus and is a mix of conservative, saving the old, conserving, and bringing in the new, because it's very futuristic, Uranus. So there you go. There's my point on Pallas Athena's message to us all right now.